Another school, another gunman, another show of how divided we stand. And that huge field of Republican candidates for governor sliced in half by bad paperwork. Today is Sunday, May 29, 2022, and this is Flashpoint.
Hi, welcome to Flashpoint. I hope your holiday weekend has been a good one so far, though you might find it difficult to set aside the events of last week. Uvalde, Texas became the latest entry on the world's saddest list. The details that have tumbled forth since Tuesday just keep making it worse. A few thoughts on Uvalde coming up in just a minute. But we're also going to spend time today talking about the wild turn of events in the Republican race for governor. Half of the field was amputated from the proceedings on Thursday as the Board of Canvassers split 2-2 on the petition problems of 5 of the candidates, and that 2-2 split was enough to send them either home or to court. And James Craig and Perry Johnson have vowed that that's where they're headed. But the ironies here are pretty rich. James Craig was the presumed front runner, a designation that doesn't usually get tripped up on petition signatures. And for Johnson, the quality guru, well, wasn't exactly elite quality control. But what now? There was supposed to be a GOP gubernatorial debate on Mackinac next week at the annual policy conference. We're going to set the stage for that this morning, too. But back to Uvalde. I got a lovely email this week from a woman really looking forward to what Flashpoint could add to this terribly important conversation on school shootings this week. And to be honest, I'm at a loss. All week long, I've just watched and listened to our nation's leaders just talking right past each other, as we have done so many times. This is what I posted on Click on Detroit this week.
I can't say I recommend spending time on social media on a day like Tuesday, but I did manage to come across 2 comments that rang true. First, there was a post from journalist Dan Rather who noted, "There was so much to say and nothing left to say." So true after another school shooting. I can't believe I'm using the word another when describing a school shooting. How can we continue to see blood splattered all over the walls of grade school classrooms? You would think a zero-tolerance policy on school shootings would have kicked in by now, and a zero-tolerance policy would render obsolete the word another. But we remain sadly, tragically unequipped to find a remedy for this almost uniquely American horror. We're also pretty unique in being a nation in which there are more guns than people. And as I've noted often, if we weren't moved to act after Sandy Hook, I'm not sure we're really all that interested in solving this deadly and violent puzzle. So I'm with Dan Rather. I'm not sure there's anything new to say, even as we feel moved to say something. But I was also intrigued to see a tweet from my friend Christy McDonald, who wrote, "As we all struggle tonight, I can only hope more young people will become psychiatrists, psychologists, therapists, social workers, counselors to treat the growing collective trauma." And that struck me as terribly sad and terribly true. But it also occurred to me we need more of those professionals on the front end of this trauma too. While we argue over guns and the Second Amendment, one thing that should be clear by now, and upon which we can perhaps agree, is that these murderous sprees are carried out by young, usually, males, always, who are disconnected, disaffected, and disenchanted. There's often bullying hovering somewhere in the background. It's been reported the gunman was teased for years about a speech impediment. And just now, social media takes every slight and grievance and dials it up to an 11. Every night, it seems we're airing stories about violent road rage cases and people losing it on airplanes and in restaurants. We can't even carry out our revered peaceful transfer of power. Little wonder for those with access to weaponry that bullets would rain when the string finally snaps. Right now, I'm listening to Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick emotionally urging us to understand we're better than this. But I'm afraid former NFL coach Bill Parcells was right. You are what your record says you are. And right now, we're a nasty place. Angry, bitter, and vengeful. Earlier this past week, I was struck by the election night remarks from the new Prime Minister of Australia, Anthony Albanese, who called his nation to kindness. Kindness. What a concept. We're really good at it after the shooting stops, but we desperately need to become a kinder place every day. In our hearts, in our politics, on the streets, in our schools, online. All of the places a disaffected, angry young man can turn. Until then, we are what our record says we are.
Well, I have been a little dismayed this week. That is, some have called for changes in our laws. Others have claimed that that politicizes this tragedy. I don't really get that. We are a nation of laws. The laws are arrived at through a political process, both through elections and then through debate and negotiations in state houses and on Capitol Hill. And my question today is, are these events likely to cause changes in the laws under which we live? Let's talk about it with political consultant Dennis Darnoy here from Densar Consulting, political consultant Adolph Mongo back with us from Mongo and Associates, co-host of It's Just Politics on Michigan Radio Zoe Clark, and pollster and strategist Steve Mitchell of Mitchell Research. Gang, thank you all very much for being here. It's been a really awful, brutal week, and I guess I wonder at what we can add to all of this. But Steve, my central question is, as we've watched this back and forth and we see polls where 90% or more of Americans do want to see maybe more stringent background checks. Does any of that matter? Is anything going to move the needle?
You can do polling on specific issues related to it, but I looked at a survey last night conducted after the shooting down in Uvalde, Texas, and essentially 52% of the country wants to have stricter gun laws. 48%, however, say that either the gun laws are strict enough now or they should be more lenient. And when you've got half the country split like this, then there's no way you're going to move forward any legislation, because most of those people who want gun control legislation are in urban areas in more Democratic states, and the ones who don't are in Republican states. The Senate controls it, and you're not going to see any changes.
Adolph, we now see, I can't even fathom it, guns are the leading cause of death among American children now.
Listen, a couple weeks ago, we had 10 people shopping in a grocery store, mowed down by an 18-year-old. And now, just the other day, another 18-year-old going to a school and kill our babies. And these folks in D.C. could care less. You know what? I was watching TV, and one former an appointee under Obama said they need an Emmett Till moment when they needed to see the carnage that this guy left, and I know you won't see it. And they had to get DNA to identify these babies. These are babies, and people used to make fun of the Detroit public schools, saying, "Oh, they got metal detectors. Oh, it's dangerous to go in there." They was ahead of the game, and a lot of these schools do not want to accept the fact that they have walking time bombs walking the halls in their schools, and they're not dealing with it.
You bring up an important point, because we debate that about crime scene photos and what exactly we show and what we don't show. Do you sense any real push to change, or is it just still a bunch of talk?
I think in the hearts of Americans, to Steve's point about asking questions, right, and poll numbers, if you asked Americans, do you want this to stop? You're going to get 100%. Yeah. So how do you then figure out how you take that anger and you take that sadness and figure something out? That is what these elected officials are elected to do. That is why they get up and run. And the 6-month anniversary of the Oxford shooting here in Michigan, that is on Tuesday. 6 months.
Here we are. Dennis, it's interesting. You do look at some other countries that have had these horrific events, like in New Zealand, and they change the law the next month and do a gun buyback program, get rid of assault weapons. And when when you point those kind of things out, the gun lobby in this country says, yeah, but those are countries that don't have it written into their constitution, and the debate stops there.
Correct. And nothing happened after Columbine.
Yeah.
Nothing happened after Sandy Hook. Nothing happened after Oxford, and I hate to say it, I don't think anything's going to change other than just constant debate about what should we do and what shouldn't we do. Gun safety is a predominant issue across campaigns, cycle after cycle, yet nothing does get done.
Will it play into this into this coming? We've got huge elections. In fact, we're just about to. I want to move into our conversation about the governor's race here. Will it play in?
No, I mean, I don't think so. It'll be an issue, but honestly, the economy, inflation, things of that nature, that's what's really going to drive this campaign and numbers at the federal level.
Well, let's talk about what happened this past week. We've had half of the gubernatorial slate of candidates on the GOP side sliced away. We did a news story with you this week, Dennis, and you said, sorry, but this is elections 101. Somebody in the campaign has to be there checking the signatures that you have paid for.
Absolutely. I mean, there are two things that happened. A massive fraud occurred, but also these campaigns were negligent in following through on these signatures. There is every campaign knows that at the end of the week you meet, you ask, where are your signatures? What is our validation rate? The reason you raise so much money for signatures is so that you get them checked. So, I mean, it is a shame that people back these candidates and these candidates won't be on the ballot, but they're the ones to blame. They're the ones who are at fault. And if you want to run the state of Michigan, you first have to know how to run your campaign.
That's what it seems to me, Steve, and that's why I was a little surprised that the two Republican members of the Board of Canvassers sided with these aggrieved candidates.
Well, obviously Republicans are going to side with the Republican candidates on this, but you need to change 3. Again, the obligation is on the candidate to get the right signatures, and what the process is, as Dennis so correctly says, is you bring the signatures in and you begin verifying immediately. Every week you're verifying. You're going to the clerks. You're making sure that they're not fraudulent. Anyone who looked at these signatures knew that there was something wrong, and yet apparently there was no internal quality check on what was going on. So it's very unfortunate. I don't believe the courts will allow them on. I think that they're off. I think that the 2 major candidates, the one with the most money and the one in the lead, are not going to be voted on in August because they were unable to do that.
Adolph, it kind of exposes a little dirty secret. The idea that these candidates pay up to $20 per signature. Now, we all know that this is how it works.
Quoting the great Fred Sanford, you big dummy. Listen, a lot of these, listen, you look, if it doesn't pass the eye test, and I've done signatures, and signatures, I hate it.
Yes.
But you can look at some of these signatures and you know it, you throw them out. Chief Craig, listen, he was the chief for a long time here in the city. He built up a rapport with a lot of community people. Why didn't he go into the community? He would have got some good folks that would have got him the signatures, but he knows better than anybody. He's going to run his own campaign. He runs out all his campaign managers. He deserved every bit of this. Him and Perry Johnson, they bragged about how great they were, and they couldn't even get 15,000 good signatures, and they had all this time to get these signatures. Shame on them. They're gone. Bye-bye.
Well, you know, Zoe, I sympathize with their plight a little bit because they were defrauded. They paid for something that they did not end up getting. I assume Dana Nessel is going to go after and look into what's happened here. But this is really sloppy paperwork, and we've seen signatures. You know, we can name a couple of candidates who are no longer in office because we've had signature problems.
Thaddeus McCotter.
Thaddeus McCotter. But at this level, this many at one time. It's astonishing.
It's beyond astonishing. I think I've heard goat rodeo actually uttered more in the past few days than I have about Michigan politics.
I've always felt responsible for bringing that phrase to Michigan from Oklahoma.
Thank you. We're grateful for that. It makes it so much easier to describe what's happening. No, I mean, you know, it's absolutely astonishing. And you know, to have it yet again be about fraud and be about sort of democracy with a small d. And my concern is that it goes again into this sort of narrative that we have seen over the past few years about that there is just this unbearable willingness of some folks to just believe in our system. And if you don't get enough signatures, well, it shouldn't quite matter because of this, that, or that. We are a nation of laws and rules, and one of the ways to become governor is this is the first thing you do.
Which is why, Dennis, I thought it would be kind of what they were asking was to put me on the ballot anyway. Well, I guess I could show up and say, put me on the ballot. I didn't have signatures either.
I know. For a party that's against, you know, participation trophies, it seems like there are a number who want to be given this. But, you know, going back to the conversation that we had about guns and inaction, the truth of the matter is this could have been prevented.
Yes.
And what I mean by that is there is a bill in the Senate, which was introduced, State Senate, in July of last year, which says that that you cannot employ signature gatherers who have election fraud convictions. The person who supposedly is at the head of this was convicted twice or of 2 felonies in Virginia for this. So again, this could have been prevented a long time ago, yet there was inaction at the legislative level.
But look, you've got 5 candidates who made it on the ballot. Tudor Dixon got 29,735, which is almost what the governor got. So it can be done. It can be done legally. You've got to monitor.
It can be done
Quality
right.
Guru should have been
done right.
Quality Guru.
It seems to on most years. So where does the advantage tilt now? What happens with we're left with 5. What happens now?
Oh, I think with the DeVos family backing Tudor Dixon, she becomes the odds-on favorite for the nomination, and she'll be a very strong candidate in the general election.
I mean, it's 10 weeks until we go into the primary. So having that type of backing is going to kind of be like a jetpack on her candidacy.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know, and Senate Majority Leader Mike Shirkey, right, was sort of one of the first to come out and endorse her even before the name ID or necessarily the money was there. And she's also going to, you know, be now the only woman who's going to be running in this primary against a female sitting governor. You know, it's going to be really interesting, though. I do think you need to watch still Kevin Rinke, the businessman. You know, at the GOP debate in Livingston County, he was trying to thread some needles there about maybe trying to push a little bit to the more moderate direction, which doesn't get you through a primary, right? But it does help in a general. And, you know, we're still, as we've talked many times at this table about the intra-party fight within the Republican Party and what happens on August 2nd and how does this split yet again. And so I'm watching him and just how he's trying to thread that needle, which is happening all over across the country.
We don't have an endorsement from Donald Trump yet. What will that role play in this?
Well, I don't know. You know, it depends on what part of the country you're in. In some parts of the country, they love Donald Trump. In other
we're
parts,
in Michigan. How's that going?
Well, you know, I think it's a mixed bag.
80% of the vote of Republican Party primary voters will vote for a candidate that Donald Trump endorses.
And you go
it's a huge endorsement.
You go north.
But the big problem for the Democrats, the governor got to step up her game. And it's not going to be an easy ride in November. Plus, she got folks here in Detroit. And if she says, okay, I got them in the bag, she's going to have a Hillary moment. Because, you know, you're going to have to get people out to vote.
I got to get to a break. Gang, thanks very much for a great conversation. When we come back, we'll talk with Sandy Barua, the head of the Detroit Regional Chamber, who's trying to host a gubernatorial debate on Mackinac Island next week. This is Flashpoint on Local 4.
Some hesitate when faced with a decision, but not you. Introducing the 2022 Telluride Nightfall Edition.
A progressive jackpot that grows with every play. That's what makes Fast Cash from the Michigan Lottery such a thrilling game. The progressive jackpot keeps building and building and building until jackpot. Fast Cash. The fun keeps building.
Call Thornton & Grooms, your home service professionals. Keep your water heater running efficiently with a $99 flush and fill. Thornton & Grooms, we're in tune with your comfort.
Presenting Kia's turbo-infused Sport Tune GT lineup, backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. Get 1.9% APR for up to 48 months on the purchase of a new 2022 K5.
Memorial Day weekend means warm weather fun is in full swing. And it also means road construction season is on the way.
Every single freeway, we are going to have either a weekend closure or major work going on.
But don't let orange barrels ruin your day. Tuesday morning at 6:30.
What you need to know about the biggest project happening this summer.
Find out how to avoid the gnarliest closures and find the fastest detours so you can get where you're going on time. Tuesday on Local 4 News Today and streaming on Local 4 Plus.
This week, for many of those in the political and business worlds in Michigan, it's the annual trek up north to Mackinac Island for the annual policy conference by the Detroit Regional Chamber. And poor Sandy Barua, the head of the chamber, nothing to talk about this year. I don't know how
boring. The weather will be good.
Well, it does actually look good, but you were just telling me this is the most complicated conference that you've tried to put together yet.
Our team has more moving parts up in the air this year than any other one. We're doing this big VIP golf tournament that Arn Tellem, who's our chair from the Pistons, is putting together. Mia Hamm, Lee Trevino, Elena Myers, Dave Bing. I mean, all of these sports stars, playing golf with a lot of our senior Michigan leadership. And then we've got more people on stage than we've ever had before, even though we're trying to shrink the footprint of the conference. Right. There's a lot going on.
You're also trying to hold as much as you can outside.
Yes.
Because you still have COVID concerns.
Yeah.
We've got another surge going on in Michigan right now, and you don't exactly want to host a super spreader event.
Yeah, it's not good for business. I learned that the hard way.
Yeah.
But certainly what we're doing is that we are seeing a decline in cases. That's good, but we're still doing events outside. One, the weather's supposed to be really nice, and it's just lovely when we're able to do it outside. But we are hosting what's left of the Republican field. We're very excited about that. Obviously, we've gone through, let's just call it iterations, in terms of how we have crafted that field. But we feel really good with the removal of Chief Craig and Mr. Perry from the ballot. We've extended the invitation to the rest of the field, those who haven't already said no, to come. So we're going to have at least 3, more likely 4 of the leading Republican candidates on stage, and we're looking forward to hosting them.
You've also got a number of other luminaries coming, aside from the hopeful gubernatorial candidates. You announced this past week that Pete Buttigieg, the transportation secretary, is coming.
Yeah, Secretary Buttigieg is coming. He, along with Ted Koppel, are going to really be talking about infrastructure, electrification, what that means for Michigan, what that means for public investment. We have John Meacham, who I frankly have a fanboy crush on, a presidential historian, talking about this really unique moment in history that we're in terms of civility, in terms of political polarization, really to our theme of how do businesses need to interact with the community differently than we have in the past, just because things are so different than they used to be.
Stephen Ross is on the agenda, a big enough name that he actually has a business school named after him.
Yeah, and what's nice about Stephen Ross is that he's magnanimous, but he's actually bringing people with him, including the lieutenant governor. But we've got Mike Tirico from NBC Sports moderating Mr. Ross. We got him moderating Tom Gores. We got Steve Ballmer coming to talk about the importance of
Steve Ballmer. That's pretty big too.
Exactly, but none of these guys are talking about sports, sports per se, right? They're talking about their community investment. They're talking about how they're interacting differently with civic society.
Which is your overall theme this year. Businesses are trying to figure out how do we exist in this new wacky world that we can't quite figure out yet if we're in a sliver of time or if this is the new normal.
Businesses are finding themselves having to fill the gap because the loss of public trust in government, in media in particular, even in religious institutions, really leaves business as the last institution standing that can provide information to primarily their employees, but to the citizens in the community that they serve with basic information. Like they stepped in after the January 6th riots. They stepped in when, some fundamental election ballot access issues were at stake. They stepped in during the Civil Rights Awakening, which we're still in, thankfully, after the George Floyd murder. So they are playing a role that they've never had to play before, and they did not teach this when they were at HBS.
I've only got about 30 seconds left, but as the head of the Detroit Regional Chamber, the business climate to you right now in Michigan feels
good.
Good.
Yeah, it feels good. Listen, right now, customers still have money. I know that there's, people are concerned about inflation, but people are outspending the pace of inflation quite strongly. Business demand is good. Now, I say that for 2022. I say that for budget 2023. I'll send you a memo for 24.
I'll be looking for it. And I'm afraid that outspending inflation leads to more inflation, if I recall my economics class. I got to get to a break. Back with more in just a minute. This is Flashpoint on Local 4.
It's your journey. Own it in the Hyundai Tucson. Get 2.79% APR or $500 bonus cash on the Tucson with new inventory arriving daily. Visit buyhyundai.com today.
This is a Gardner White exclusive offer. CERTA has approved the largest price cut in the company's history and only available at Gardner White. For the first time ever, get price rollbacks up to an extra $1,000 off the sale price. Like the CERTA Canton, price cut and price cut again. Limited time, just $7.99 with free TV. Get 0% financing up to 60 months and free same-day delivery. Do not miss out on this special savings opportunity. One more reason why Gardner White is Detroit's #1 mattress store.
Winegardens has grown over the years. Really, as the customers' needs change, we change with their needs.
We've always believed that service goes beyond the sale, that it does not end when you buy a product. Our relationship is just beginning.
We carry top products like the Exmark Radius with Exmark's legendary heritage of innovation, durability, reliability, and comfort.
From our family to yours, thank you for letting us serve you.
Winegardens, everything from lawn to snow.
It's your journey. Own it in the Hyundai Santa Fe. Get 2.79% APR or $500 bonus cash on the Santa Fe with new inventory arriving daily. Visit buyhyundai.com today.
The Chevrolet Detroit Grand Prix presented by Lear is racing around Belle Isle, and Local 4 has all the excitement. Race weekend revs up Friday with free pre-day. At 10 a.m., catch Live in the D trackside. Plus, Bernie and Jamie bring you updates from inside the action all weekend long. Then, don't miss the Grand Premiere, a live special only available on Local 4 Plus. Finally, cross the finish line Sunday at 7 with a special edition of Local 4 News straight from Belle Isle. Expect more Grand Prix coverage on Local 4 and Local 4 Plus.
That's going to do it for us. We're headed north. We got to get up to Mackinac, but there is no Flashpoint next Sunday morning because of the French Open. However, we will bring you a special edition of Flashpoint streaming on Local 4 Plus. So make sure you've got that downloaded to your smart TV. Sandy, thanks so much for being here.
Good to be with you.
We'll see you next time from Mackinac Island on Flashpoint.